against that wall, and that was a gutsy performance by our team. They to get home after the Rutgers game, after a tough game, and you get in at 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you got to get to class on Friday, and we simply couldn't practice, so we walked through and really kind of had a mental preparation for Georgetown, which is, I think, one of the hardest teams to prepare for because their style is so much different than anybody else. And to have these guys, come out and execute a game plan in such a short amount of time, just shows how focused they were and how determined they were to find a way to get a win. And when you're 0-4 in the league and you're not feeling great about yourself, and you're down by 8 at halftime, and I think they came out hit a 3 and made it 11. You kind of say, man, how are we gonna be? Are we gonna have some resolve? Are we gonna have some toughness? Are we gonna fight back? And I thought we saw a lot in our basketball team that they were willing to battle, to fight, to scrap, and between the 3-point shot, the ability to take care of the basketball, not turn over, and have a plus 10 in that area. In the second half was, I thought, the difference in the game. That was a huge difference because they shot well against us. We just shot okay, but we had a lot more possessions and we had more threes, and that was the difference in the game.
Sim, go ahead.
So with everything you just described, I imagine, regardless of how you get this done, just a win is no matter how it happened, it's a win.
I don't care if we shot 1%. We won. That's all that matters. I mean, this is a great league. It's a great league. This is going to be one of the all-time, I think, most competitive top-to-bottom races that we've had in this league. And Georgetown's a very good team. You can see who they've beaten, and so to beat them at home by any means is a great effort. And I thought that last stand really signified, what it took to get the job done. And I saw the guys really, getting down in that stance. I saw us have to switch and talk and communicate to help each other. Then when the ball got loose, I saw 2 guys down on the floor pulling, just laid out, kept it alive, and ultimately AC picked it up and finished things with those free throws. That was a heck of a last stand at the end.
Stan, what do you do when you're shooting this poorly? Not this game, but any game. What do you tell your team? You shoot better, focus better. I mean, is there anything you can tell them?
Well, I think more than anything, you just tell them that take good shots, work for good shots, and stay aggressive. Stay aggressive and try to get yourself to the free throw line if you're not in the rhythm. Try to get to the rim and transition. So you just gotta let them. You gotta stick with it. And I think in some ways, our second half. The numbers at the end don't look great, but if you look at our second half numbers, 50% shooting, 53% from the 3,
right,
and 90% from the free throw line, that's a hell of a second half performance on the offensive end too.
It's one win out of 18 league games, but just the timing of it, the perception, is it just huge for the weight off the back? And
I think it gets a lot of weight off your back because you're trying to when you get off to that start, you're scratching your head and your confidence is a little bit shaken. And in fairness, our schedule's been, I think, as tough as anybody to start off the first 5 games. I mean, we look at Syracuse and Louisville, how good they are. Louisville or Villanova was sandwiched in between, but it's a good basketball team. Rutgers is off to a good start, and we had a great chance to win that game and came up short. So, there's a lot of basketball still to be played, and I've seen our team go on runs, win consecutive games, and that's what we got to do. We got to play game by game and build on what we did tonight.
Stan, most of his points came early, but you can just talk about what Hawkins has done for you, just to give you, especially with guys like Musa and Sean out, what he's given you.
Yeah, well, the injury bug is really, been tough on our team. And, we all, kind of steal that line. You got to have the next guy up, and he's certainly been the next man up to really fill that void of guys like Noriega not in the lineup, and Musa, who we were really counting on in a lot of ways, not being able to be out there as well. So he's given us a nice lift to the point where, it looked like at one time he wasn't hardly even going to play. Tonight he's starting, and he's playing 33 minutes against Georgetown. Who would have figured that 2 weeks ago? I didn't see it coming, but I think we're seeing a kid that's is now getting comfortable out there. He's got a good feel for what he can do, and he's not going to do anything but keep getting better.
So, even early on, you mentioned he's going to be a key player for us at some point. Is circumstances allowed at some point to come now?
Circumstances allowed it to come, and it just took him a little bit of time to make that transition from high school to college. I think it does that for most every guy. He's still learning. He's still developing on different things. But I think you can see he can make some plays. He makes some things happen. He made a shot I don't know how he did it. He scooped underneath the basket and it spun and it twisted and it corkscrewed in and it went in. It was a heck of a shot.